Welcome to another episode of Inside with Outsiders. And today's guest is a very special person to outsiders. Well, let's talk about why he's special. But first, I'm going to introduce him. His name is Jamie. You might know him from our Outsider Hikes. He's our host with the most.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I am doing well, actually. I am very honored. I appreciate you guys having me here tonight.
You have no idea why you're here, do you?
I have actually no idea. I received a text from
You
you.
were so nervous. He was asking, is there a dress code? I'm like, dress code? We're doing a video. What are you talking about?
Is there a camera on? You know what? Let me send this text message address to another person. If I don't come back, come looking for me.
You're like, is there a camera? I'm like, it's an interview on camera. Yes, there's a camera.
Listen, I had to make sure I wasn't too sure.
But I appreciate your concern about being prepared. But thank you.
Of course.
So let's hear. Where are you from? Like, tell us a little about yourself, and we get into these questions. Where are you from? Where do you rep? And I know where you're from. I got a little beef about where you're from.
Beef? Why?
Not about where you're from.
Oh, I was gonna
about
say.
what it is now. But go ahead. Shout out where you're from.
Well, I am originally from Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Yep.
Been there for 30 plus years of my life at this point. So I've seen it become from broken down parking lots, warehouses, empty streets to what it is today, which is something mind blowing, to be quite honest.
Well, before we start going to what it is now.
Yes.
We know what it is now.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of what it is now. I mean, yeah, I like certain parts of the creativity and so on. But before we
Yeah.
get into that, what was it like growing up in Williamsburg? Like, you described like empty lots and so on, but what was it like?
I mean, overall, it was essentially Williamsburg, from what I can remember, was essentially in, let's say, for example, in my block.
Yeah. Where was your block?
My block is on like South First, so it was in the South Side. So there's like a South Side, North,
South First and what?
between Havamai and Robley.
Okay.
So there, it essentially was just people from a certain area in Puerto Rico. So everyone pretty much knew everybody. So it was just people from the same communities traveling to New York and just making a home for themselves here in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So eventually when as we grew up, everyone's pretty close.
Yeah.
Everyone's pretty niche. That whole big what was it, the blackout? I think it was 2002, 2003.
Yeah, but I feel like the blackout, was it already gentrified by then? It was just
No.
starting. No,
It was starting.
Yeah.
It was kind of there, but listen, everyone was family, everyone was friends, and even people that might have not been from the same ethnicity or background, we still welcome people. For example, that blackout, we had people come over. Our meats were like essentially going bad, so we just cooked that.
Yeah.
So everyone just went out, they popped open the grill, and we just cooked throughout the whole night in the blackout.
So you're talking about, this is like a really tight knit community that was like generations of Williamsburg
Yes.
Puerto Ricans,
Yes,
right?
Yes. Essentially, yes. It was good times. I really had. I cannot complain about my childhood.
Do you miss that Williamsburg?
Yes, I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss that Williamsburg. Not that there's anything wrong with what it is today, because obviously things do have to evolve. Things have to change as things go on. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that goes without saying. But do I miss it? Yeah.
Where's that community gone now? Like the ones you grew up with, that tight knit community is no longer there. I mean, there's still remnants of old school Puerto Rican, New Yorkers in Williamsburg.
Yes,
But
there
it's
is.
like a little pocket now.
It's a little pocket. Unfortunately, a lot of our mentors, our grandparents, they're no longer here, which essentially, grandma, grandpa, they were more of the people that kept the families together.
So where have they gone? Like, where's the next generation gone? Have they moved together to a certain location or are they just spread around?
Everyone's spread around.
Okay.
Everyone's essentially, from the conversations I've had with my mom and my dad and people around the neighborhood, because, I'm still around and stuff like that. And, people move on. People have kids, they grow up, they get married, they find a new job. So
what are your thoughts on the new Williamsburg?
are we still drinking?
Yeah. Is this a positive cheers, or is it like, let's have a drink? 'Cause New Williamsburg, I'm not really pleased with.
Let me get a minute to, collect my thoughts. I want to articulate this as best as possible.
I'm assuming you have similar views in the sense where there's pros and cons of gentrification, right?
Yes.
There's new opportunity. There's a lot of creativity in Williamsburg, but then
Yes.
again, it's a lot of pushing out of people being pushed out for financial reasons, right?
Yeah, rent's gone up. There's been times, and not even there are still times our landlords will try to like buy us out, or like, hey, listen,
And is there a large component that owns in Williamsburg? The New Yorkers that are, the old school OG Puerto Ricans that
very
own
very
the
little,
buildings?
very little,
Very little. Okay.
very little. If anything, I dare say maybe 1%. 2% actually have something that they can own, they can say it's
So that
theirs.
makes it even harder because they're not the landlord. So they can be pushed out because rent can be raised. I mean, to a certain extent,
to a
obviously.
certain extent, yeah.
And they don't have any say in that.
In that regards, yes. At times, tenants do have certain rights.
Yeah.
So there are people that fight
Yeah.
in regards to that, right? So it's not something that you can just like easily like kick us out,
Yeah.
and it is what it is. But if we do have certain records showing that we've been here for years, things of that
Right.
nature, then
Yeah,
no,
rent
you can't just kick us
stabilization
out.
and so on.
No, not at all.
When did you leave Williamsburg?
Essentially,
where did you go?
I never essentially left Williamsburg, but I do travel back and forth in Astoria and Williamsburg.
Okay.
So I do still stay in Williamsburg from time to time, and then overall I do have a base in Astoria, right off of the Steinway location.
Did you leave and go to school, or they tell us about you? The point
No,
of
no,
this
no,
is to
no,
learn
no.
about you, not so much. We're not just going to talk about Williamsburg and
Yeah.
legalization,
No,
but
no.
it is a part of your life, of course.
A
But I
big
want to
part.
know about, you did high school in Williamsburg.
So I did. Essentially, I follow my sister's footsteps, literally in every sense. Went to the same elementary, same junior high school, same high school, and the same college.
Where'd you go to college?
City College up in
Okay,
Harlem.
yep.
So and to the point where I even followed her in the same footsteps of the same job.
Which is it's not that unusual. I mean,
No,
it's-
I guess
it's a
not.
path already traveled, so it's familiar. So
Yes.
you have the connects.
Yeah, definitely. And overall, I mean, once I hit a certain age, it was time to leave the nest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, eventually, you want your own space.
How old are you now?
I turned actually 34 in 2 months.
In 2 months, we got to celebrate that. Not tonight.
No,
We'll celebrate it.
no, responsibly, yeah.
So, you finished City College.
Yes.
Did you? What year was this?
2012, I want to say, actually.
Okay. So, what did you do from there on? Because I know, we know what your day job is, right?
Yeah.
But no, a lot of people don't know what we know about you as far as. And I knew you're big in the poetry scene, right?
Yep, you used to be, yeah.
You produced your own poetry events.
Yes.
But what I didn't know about you until maybe a year or two after I met you was you also did music.
Yes, I did music, yeah.
Tell us about what came first.
So-
I know it's kind of maybe symbiotic, but
Do we have time? So come high school, I want to say, teenage years, my cousin and his friends started rapping. And essentially, I kind of got into it. I followed the same footsteps. I would like freestyle.
Will you do it in English, Spanish, both?
Both, actually.
Okay.
So I would, but more English.
Yeah.
Essentially, I would just like freestyle. He left to the Air Force. My cousin left to the Air Force. He left a booth. He created a whole booth,
A sound studio.
a sound
basically.
studio,
Okay.
and he unfortunately had to go to the Air Force, and so he left it there. So I was like, I came in. I'm like, Uncle, Auntie, can I just rock out in here? I created for days. I would go to class and then come to the come over to the crib and just work, get creative, listen to songs.
So
Ideally,
it
a lot
was
of the
rapping
music.
first.
Yeah, rapping first. A lot of the music was 90s rap, Jay-Z, Nas.
A lot of music that inspired you was 90s
Yes.
rap?
So I would
Or was
use a
it-
lot
so
of
your
those.
sound was kind of reminiscent of like a 90s rap, kind of like Joey Badass in a sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Perfect example.
Yeah.
And then from there, I started creating essentially projects. It didn't really work out as well.
Did you ever get record label meetings and so on?
So eventually I did meet somebody that was in the industry. He showed me some of the ropes. He showed me some behind the scenes. It was something I unfortunately realized that it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, which is why I appreciate him so much. And I appreciate the knowledge that he shared with me. He made me realize that maybe this isn't my scene.
Yeah.
So I kind of like pushed off it. That was in high school. Come college, I eventually met with small production team called Y Evo Entertainment, and we sat down, we talked, we spoke, and next thing you know, 6 months later, I have an EP out.
What was your artist name? Your rapper name? Let's hear this. What is it? This has got to be good.
Baserillo.
Baserillo. Oh, that's your Instagram handle, right?
Yeah. That's my Instagram, Baserillo.
I used to think that was your last name. Then
No.
Your government name. I'm like, oh. I might still have you in my phone as Baserillo.
Wow. No. I mean, that's cool as long as you know it's me. But no, Baserillo. Essentially, Baserillo is a combination of where my mom and my dad is from Puerto Rico. So my mom is from Luquillo, and my dad is from Barceloneta. So I created Baserillo.
Bams is the producer of our show. Where are you filming in Puerto Rico?
Camarillo.
Okay, yeah.
Where is that?
Mountains, like it's literally like dead center of the island.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, you have a mic back there? Can everyone hear you?
Yeah, no, my father's a fucking Hebrew.
Yeah.
He is. He's a fucking hill.
So we can hear you?
Yeah, my father's a Puerto Rican hillbilly.
No. Jibaro, baby. That's what it is.
I gotta repeat that. Yeah, my father's a Puerto Rican hillbilly. We got seriously, probably got like maybe 35 chickens right now, 2 goats, 3 pigs.
That's the way to live. He's an outsider. He's a real outsider.
No, he's a real outside. No, an original.
This dude will climb a banana tree barefoot.
Oh. Right now?
No,
Yes.
He'll literally right now. He's 86 and he'll do that shit right now.
Can you do that?
Hell to the no.
That's actually funny. Someone in Luquillo is like that too. That he's an older cat in like 50s, but he's so fit. He makes a living off of selling coconuts. So you'll see him like early in the morning, crack of dawn, going up trees, and I'm like,
well, it's not about him. It's about you. So you had your hip hop name. You had an album, right?
I had an EP and eventually a mixtape.
So when did poetry come into effect? Where did that go? Did that stop and then poetry took?
So in college, I tried to do my own thing with 2 other of my close friends at the time. We tried to do a small production team, which was essentially, doing poetry events, comedy shows, private parties, parties in general, and creating those moments. I essentially created a platform for myself because I wasn't like popular in college or anything like that, but I knew a few people, and they would bring friends, and then those friends would bring friends. Yeah. So when it came to the poetry events and setting that up, I would bring 1 or 2 people, but then I would also take the opportunity to take my lyrics and kind of reformat them in a way where it would sound kind of more of a poetic.
Right.
And I was
Your delivery was different.
My delivery was different. So when it came to executing it, I was like, you know what? This actually sounds pretty dope. Mm-hmm. And down the line, I just kept kind of doing those events and kind of doing my own thing. And as I started working with the small production team, we started doing like private events outside of it, just turning those lyrics that I wrote, in my teen years and in my early 20s, and just kind of reformatting and delivering in the sense of poetry.
So you kind of pivoted your hip hop career to poetry.
Yes, definitely. It was a great and amazing experience. I was exposed to
which experience, poetry or the hip hop?
Both.
Okay.
Both, essentially, for me. And when I tell certain people that they hear me, but I don't think they understand, music saved my life. Music continues to save my life.
Tell me how. I mean, you don't seem like, and maybe this is definitely a stereotype to say, but you don't seem like a gangbanger who was saved because of music. Like, how did music save your life?
No, definitely. Which is funny because I actually, in some of my lyrics, I say that it's like people don't listen to me because I'm not a gangbanger type of rapper. That's not me. I'm more conscious. I'm more Mos Def, Talib Kweli. Yeah. But when it came to situations, when it came to like presenting myself, I didn't want to present myself something that I'm not. I'm not a gangbanger. I'm not selling drugs in the streets. I'm not that type of person. Mm-hmm. But I am a person with emotions. You know what I mean? There are times that I get depressed. There are times when I have these emotions, roller coasters. There's times that I'm happy. These are opportunities for me to write. So when I listen to certain songs, it brings me to an element. It brings me to an understanding.
And I like that the fact that you're open about having these emotions is very important. I think a lot of, especially men, won't like to come forward with those things because they feel like it makes them less of a man. Secondly, if you're writing music or poetry, speaking on your personal experiences, your emotion, I think I think the purpose of any art is to evoke emotion.
Yes.
And if you're talking about emotion, your personal experience, you know you're not the only person experiencing this.
Yeah.
The fact that you're sharing this is amazing, and I think more people should share those emotions.
No, of course. There's nothing wrong with, again, in the sense, anyone in general, but men, yeah, we do have a difficulty expressing feelings. There is nothing wrong with you expressing your feelings. I think that's very important to get across, a message to get across to people. But music gave me an opportunity to express those feelings, gave me an opportunity, an outlet essentially.
Right.
So
A
I can
creative
kind of
outlet in that, 'cause you're a
creative
creative
outlet.
person.
Yeah, and then just kind of like balance things out a little bit. Sometimes you need that outlet. You know, everyone needs an outlet from time to time.
Absolutely.
Work.
I mean, to be honest with you, like this right here, this is an outlet for me. One, to share my thoughts with people who I appreciate and get to know the people even better. Like we've talked many times, we've hung out for a while, but like
yeah.
I'm getting to sit down and learn new things about you because I'm asking these interview style questions and there's little details about you that I've never known. Right? So this is for me, this is entertaining. For me, the human story is the most interesting story.
No, of course.
Right? So
No, yeah.
when
yeah.
you so you went from music to poetry.
Yeah.
When was it? I mean, you're still kind of dabbling it, but you said you left poetry in a sense, or maybe you're not as involved. When did that happen? Why? And how did it bring you to where you are now?
So I kind of got out of it eventually. Like the small production team, I kind of like left it in a sense. Unfortunately, nothing bad happened, anything like that. Just I wanted to. Everyone just had their own ideas. Life happened at the end of the day, right? Life happened. So I kind of laid low for a little bit, and one of my other close friends, he started a poetry team, production, also small production, and he wanted me on board. He wanted me to be a host. He wanted me to
How long ago
perform.
was this?
Oh man, this was probably, I want to say, at this point, probably 2-3 years ago.
Is that what because I remember coming to one of your poetry events.
Word Masters Poetry.
Yes,
Yes,
was that
you
it?
did. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was
I
one of the
remember.
events.
That was great. You did a great job hosting.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. It was again. It's
I mean,
just-
I think your personality is good. You host Outsiders, right? You're a guide, but I mean, my main effort with Outsiders when it comes to the guides, and it came organically with you and the people that became guides, and we'll explain that story in a bit. But we have our expert licensed guide, Jillian, and we have the people who are the experts, we have the caretakers and so on. But
yeah.
to me, that's important, but it doesn't really define Outsiders and what we are. For me, it's important to have people that host and make the community feel like a community, make it feel like a family. And you, my friend, have nailed that. And you do that well. You do that amazingly with your poetry shows. You make people feel like they're all in there and you're talking to them.
Yes.
And you do that. Like, you're such a key component of Outsiders. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
And I know.
Honored.
Maybe I don't say it enough. Maybe I say it too much.
No. You can never say it enough.
But but that whole dynamic of making people feel like they belong, make it like you're hosting them, they feel like they've made a great friend by the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's because of your character traits.
No, I think it's very important. That's actually one of the things that just from the first event that Ifani actually brought me.
I want to talk to that
okay,
too.
all right,
I do.
all right.
I
Well,
wanna
hold
touch
up,
on that.
hold up.
I just want to hear the last of your hip hop
Okay.
poetry stuff, and then we'll get into the first event you showed up at.
So-
which wasn't the first event Ifani showed up at.
No, it wasn't.
Ifani is actually Jamie's roommate.
Yes.
We're gonna do a show with Ifani as well. But yeah, tell us about how you but kind of led from that poetry and hip hop stuff to now.
So again, I got introduced to that small production team, Word Masters Poetry. It was great. There was a lot going on. I saw potential. Something that I could never, and this is side. I'm sorry, this is a side note. Something that I could never. I've come to accept. I could never get away from hosting, networking as many times, and Lord knows I've tried many times to just get away from it. I need to breathe. Somehow I always get pulled back, and I guess I'll bring that back when we talk about Outsiders.
Yeah.
But things were great. The events were great. We had the co-founders, the founders had great ideas. I loved it. I sat down with them and I saw potential. And I loved the potential that they had. And I wanted to support that in any way possible, whether it be possibly financially, being a host, being a poet, whatever I can do to be a team player, I was all for it. Unfortunately, down the line, and I don't want to make this into a situation. I don't want to bring up anything more than what it is, but unfortunately, there was jealousy in the group, and because of that, I was essentially casted away, not by the founders, but by the actual poetry, a few of the poetry members that I essentially thought that they were going to, kind of ride or die situation.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if I'll bring it up and you let me know if you want to kind of like, let's not get there. I'll let you decide that. It was one of the female poets. I thought it was good. I thought everything was fine. She was doing her events. I was doing my events. I thought everything was perfect. And, I genuinely wanted to support her and her actions and whatever she wanted to do for the production, right? Down the line, I guess something happened. I never saw it. I swear to God, I was blindsided. Apparently, I found out later on there was some type of jealousy going on. She was not a fan of me. I would have never guessed it. If you would have told me that she felt
Listen,
that way
brother,
about me,
I got one thing to tell you.
I would have
To quote
never.
French Montana, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. My lawyer told me that when I was being sued. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.
Yeah, but it was you know what it is. It was unfortunate because aside from being blindsided, I never would have guessed it from this person. I wasn't angry. I was just disappointed by her. I was sad about the situation, and because of that, it made it look out to be like I was the bad guy when. Unfortunately, that's not the case.
I think people who really get to know you obviously know that is not the case. But listen, it happens.
It happens.
You can't make everyone like you.
And so that alone just made me realize, you know what? I don't need to be part of this poetry world, man.
So that was your exit.
That was my exit.
Okay.
I started unfollowing people. It's not for me anymore.
So then I guess we could lead into the outsiders, right? From here.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So I remember the first event you came to. I remember really well for a number of reasons. One, I told you, I mentioned this to you recently. That event was the first event.
Yes.
The event where I lost a lot of money. Not a lot, but like the most money I lost on an event for outsiders was that event. And I look back at it, and it was such a special event. So it was when we were still using the buses.
Yes.
I think we had only sold 22 tickets. I needed to sell a lot more to break even. I didn't. It felt like everything was wrong that day because like the week before we scoured it, it was cool. Then it rained and snowed like a couple of days before. We had to like walk through puddles. Like it was.
What's funny? That was the first trip I went on an outsiders trip with you guys. That's when I walked.
You were there.
I was carrying my. I remember.
That's right.
Because he goes, yo, you gonna be alright? Because I was walking around with the freaking gimbal with the camera on it.
Yeah. That's right.
Can you curse on this?
It all comes full circle. Look at that. Well, it's funny because it felt like everything was going wrong. I know that I didn't make enough money to break even. I lost some money. But looking back, by the end of that night, the event, I looked at it as such a big investment because the vibe of that event was amazing. I remember like Molly, Erica, CC, these like a whole group of amazing energy. These Latina girls from Miami, Mexico, all over, like their energy.
Yeah.
They all meshed with everybody. They turned it up. They started that party with you.
That bus
ride
back
was turned up. And
Oh my God.
and what's amazing is that
I missed the bus, by the way. I missed the bus sometimes.
I love Volvo. I'm not gonna front. I prefer Volvo because people get to be a little more intimate in the saying, get to know the people in the car a little better.
Yeah, that's true,
in that
too.
aspect.
Yeah.
But so the event was I look back and it was amazing because everyone really connected. And because it wasn't like 40, 50 people, it was only 20, 22, it was more intimate.
Yes.
The energy was there. Everyone vibed. And I remember the last place where we ended the event was this place it was Luzo's BK, or it was in Brooklyn. We went to eat.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I was a little gone.
Someone had a mic there or whatever. They let us like DJ, and everyone was dancing on the tables and everything. This is like
Yes.
I have video.
Yes.
I have video of this. And you stopped everybody and you toasted. And you toasted to Outsiders and me.
Yes.
And what you said, I'll never forget. And I was like, I was touched. I turned back. I'm trying to be not too teary-eyed.
Oh, whatever.
No, but you said, for me, I was stressed that day. I was stressed. I lost money. I want to make sure everyone had a good time. And then the result of that day was so amazing that that speech you gave about being the best event you've ever attended, I have it. Maybe we could show it and post. I'll cut it in, hopefully. Bams, we can do that? It's a video from my iPhone from that event.
Yeah, if you get it to me, we can clean it up. We can cut it. We can put it on.
We'll put it back. Hopefully, we can put it back.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We don't need to do that.
Oh no! Now that he doesn't want it, now we have to put it in there. We have to put it on.
We just reconnected, man. I thought we were here.
It was such a genuinely positive, appreciative toast.
I want to give a quick shout out to Jeremy. This is my first experience and one of the most memorable moments of my life. Thank you, Jeremy. Cheers.
And to me, it brought back my confidence in what I was doing for Outside, everything I was building, all the energy I put into it, and I was really appreciative. So
Yeah, you ain't gonna make me cry
you.
right now, man.
Yeah, it meant a lot to me.
No,
and everything you've brought since then has been great. Like, the truth of the matter is, we never put an ad out hiring guides and hosts.
No.
It happened organically.
Yeah.
You, Ifani, Brian, like Jillian, I met through a friend and she was an outdoor person, but you, Ifani, and Brian, three of the core people from the beginning were actually paying tickets and attending every one of my events, every one of the Outsiders events initially,
man.
and willing to help. And when it came down to me realizing I needed to hire staff, it was like, you guys are already helping me out. What's up? You down to do this officially?
No, man, I'm all for it. I'm definitely all for it. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I want you to know that was from the bottom of my heart. That was, every word that I said that day, although you remember better than I do, but I did mean it though, because it's not easy for people to be a startup in a sense, right? Because it is Outsiders is a startup, and it's gone so far from when I first joined, and I'm so proud of you for that.
Thank you, brother.
And for people like you that are trying to start something, to have that kind of support, have people that are willing to do join the events, pay the money to actually do it.
Yeah.
That's something that's not easy, and
Right.
you being you attracted people like me. And I want you to know that you will always have my support. Anyway, as I mentioned about the other
need your
schools,
support, so I appreciate that.
I will always be there. That first event, just one, it felt good to get away because I like the niche. We're in New York City. We're always running. We're always on the go. We always have a lot going on. How about we get away for a little bit? Ifani was like, listen, come with me. And
how would he say to convince you to show up? Or what did he tell you about it?
well, I mean, Ifani and I just started being roommates. I've known Ifani for over since 2006. And when we became roommates and everything, it just kind of like made sense. He told me about Outsiders. He's been to the events; they're cool, and I trust Ifani. He's not going to steer me wrong. So I was like, why not? Let's go.
Yeah.
And ever since then, that first event, man, I haven't looked back.
You haven't, and
I haven't
I'm
looked
very
back.
appreciative because you've helped. You said we've made it a long way. Is thanks to you as well.
Thank you.
So thank you. And it was funny because our attendees will always rave about you, about Ifani, about Brian, about Jillian, about everyone who helps. Because the bottom line is, we're guiding, we're making sure they're safe and so on. But what we're really doing is creating that community, making them feel like they belong. And that's so important in a city like New York, in every city, but especially New York City.
It's not easy, and I'm happy I'm able to provide that organically, and I'm able to provide that for Outsiders and for you, man. And for everyone that comes, I encourage whoever hears this. I encourage you to if you haven't joined Outsiders, if you haven't gone to any of the events, please do so. At least one, you won't regret it.
I appreciate that, and you're selling it. Thank you. What I want to say? We're hoping to be able to find people like you in every city we expand to. Like Babak, I was talking to Babak about Stockholm.
Oh man, I miss Papa.
Babak's the man, and we're having a conversation about guys and organic, people who really believe in it, and we're like, we will find a Jamie and Ifani and a Brian. We will find that, and we say that verbatim.
No, I
We'll
mean,
find that, and we need that.
It's honestly, it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy to find people like that. Not saying that we're like a special type of breed. It's just the chemistry.
You have a unique skill set. You each have a separate skill set that's different.
Yes, but at the same time, for me, I realize that it's not something that I learned. It's not something that I created or anything of that nature. It's just the way I was raised, the way my parents raised me, my sister supported me, is the way that I kind of view life and people. Life is hard as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Connecting with people, especially in New York City, is not easy. So it's good to kind of like look back, take a moment, and just kind of be like, we're all humans in our own way. And, we just look for a connection in some way or another.
Connection is very important, especially for mental health.
Yeah. Oh, especially this month. Yeah.
Yeah. Mental health awareness month.
Yeah.
At least when we're filming it. What is your favorite part of Outsiders? Do you have a favorite part? And don't you dare say the bus. Don't you dare say the bus, man. Please tell us.
Listen, listen, that first trip, that bus was on the way back, but that was the party bus.
That was the
That
club.
bus was live on the way back.
Listen,
Yeah,
even
it
the
was.
bus driver was joining in, man. Like he would like he or she would turn on the lights on and off. Like
Oh, it
a
was
club.
flickering the lights like it was a club. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
listen,
other than the bus, what is your favorite part of Outsiders? Because the bus is not the answer.
no, it's not the answer. But I think getting away from reality, escaping for a little bit, and being around people that are trying to escape as well. They feel they understand the sentiment is mutual, and just having an opportunity to explore more that's not within a studio or four wall, whatever be the case, right? It's very important.
That's something that's become very evident with COVID.
Yeah. and it's very important that that we take our time to explore. There's more out there, and I think Outsiders it gives me that opportunity to do something more than what I do on my day-to-day basis.
And also, what I like about it, talking about exploration, I feel like meeting people is also an exploration in its own. You meet people from all walks of life. You see different perspectives, and that's my favorite part. Like
Yes.
Babak was drilling me about what is your passion behind Outsiders. He's like, I know you're not an avid hiker. I know you're not. And I thought to myself, is people.
I will say this: I was a little nervous because of your background. You're in a or used to be in the
Nightlife, yeah.
in the nightlife.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest. A part of me was like, what kind of people is he gonna bring though? Because it's like,
Right. There is that stereotype, and luckily for me, maybe that's where
I was so wrong.
Yes.
I was
yes.
so
But
wrong.
the best compliment I can get is when people say, every time I meet the people you're with, I always meet great people.
Yes.
And that's the best compliment I can get, especially producing events, because especially in nightlife, you meet some real,
Interesting people.
interesting
people.
You can meet some real dirtbags,
No, yeah, okay. I was trying to be
Yeah.
PG.
I know, I wasn't. I have a question for you. What is a dream that you've yet to achieve?
A dream that I yet to achieve.
Is it really have a dream that really stands out?
Okay, that's hard, man. That's
It could be something real easy. You don't have to get in depth. We don't have too much more time.
okay. A dream. I mean, honestly,
If you don't have one, it's fine. Or you can be very general. Like we asked a couple of people. They're talking about like a family is their dream and so on. So
actually, I would say owning property would be one of my dreams.
Okay.
Actually, owning property. I think owning property is very important. I don't want to work for someone forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like owning property and just kind of making the money work for you instead of you working for the money.
so financial freedom.
Financial
essentially.
freedom. Yeah.
Is there a question or something about yourself that I haven't asked you that you'd like to share with everybody? If no, is no. But is there anything you want to share? Like anything you had in mind you want to talk about?
No, not really. No.
That's fine. You don't have to. I mean, we asked some good questions already, I think. So
No, yeah. Got into my poetry world.
So
apparently.
that brings us to our rapid fire bit here. So we end this show. We end every show. Yeah, have a swig. Take it easy. We end every show with 5 rapid fire questions for our guests.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you 5 rapid fire questions. Don't
Okay.
worry. Don't be nervous.
No,
It's
no,
okay.
no. I'm nervous.
So just answer whatever comes to mind first.
Okay, fair.
And you'll be fine. So are you ready?
Sure.
All right. So poetry or music?
Music.
Okay. Favorite city other than New York City?
Chicago.
Why Chicago?
Chicago is actually a very beautiful place.
We were supposed to be launching Outsiders in Chicago, actually.
Chicago is actually very beautiful.
Okay. Next question. Maduros or tostones?
Ooh,
Good
tostones.
question.
What is it? Tostones?
Tostones, yeah.
Barons, what about you?
Yeah, tostones.
Yeah.
Tostones?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got another one over here.
Really? I stand out, Maduros, but it's not my culture, so hey. Early morning or late night?
Late night.
Okay. And what is your favorite food?
Oh, favorite food? Oh man, that's hard. I mean, obviously in my culture, it's gonna have to be rice and beans, rice and beans with chicken, asao, right? I think that's the essential one, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't have that here tonight or today.
Yeah, so this bit, we always ask our guests to bring their favorite food. They can explain why it's their favorite food. And yeah, Bams, you want to grab his
Which bag is yours?
The one with the three. I guess.
tinfoil
I guess we
wrapped
get two over
food
here.
items. Yeah, bring 2. Yeah.
All right. Oh yes.
So what did you bring? What is it that we're
So-
about to feast? That's yours. Bams.
Yeah, that's for you actually. Yeah, enjoy. So I have here.
Ooh, this is messy.
Oh, it's messy.
Oh,
No, it's messy.
okay.
Yeah. Is there napkins?
We
in
need like
here?
paper towel and a bib and gloves.
Oh my God. Oh,
So what
come
is
on.
it? Tell us what it
It's
is.
not that bad. So
Looks like a gyro to me.
it is a gyro.
Okay.
This is actually the first time I'm ordering the gyro, so I look forward to this. It's one of my favorite halal carts ever since I started going to Astoria. It is amazing. I usually get beef shawarma
Okay.
over
Thank
rice.
you.
Thank you so much. Beef shawarma over rice.
Yeah.
It's my go-to. You know what I mean? When I need something really good, really, really fast, I guess, on the go, oh my God, I always go for the beef shawarma over rice.
So you brought us an item that's not necessarily from your culture. This is great. I love this.
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, I'm very
International.
I'm very international.
You keep
Call me the
talking. I wanna
UN.
try this.
You go for it. Oh my God, I don't even know where to start.
Where is this?
If I tell you, I had to kill you.
Let us know.
Well, I already know it's in Astoria.
Actually, let me take a look here. It's the Halal truck. It's on 34th Avenue and the corner of 34th Avenue and Steinway, actually, in Astoria. It's a blue truck. You can't miss it.
It's around the corner from Sissy McGinty's.
The Twisties.
Sissy McGinty's. It's a Irish bar on Steinway.
No. Like 2 more blocks.
Oh, okay.
Little 2 more blocks. Yeah. I don't know if you know. There's like a Rite Aid on the corner, and then there's like a sports bar right there on the corner as well.
We'll look it up. We'll put it in there.
No, yeah.
So this is the end of our interview.
Oh, okay, good.
I appreciate us ending with your food in your mouth. Thank you so much for your time. You loving this, aren't you? All right. Well, that's the end of this episode. Thank you, Jamie. Where can we'll add your Instagram handle and all that. But appreciate your time. Appreciate all the kind words about Outsiders, and I really appreciate your support. Thank you, man.
Always, man. Always here, man. Always love.
Well, till the next episode. Peace.
Thank you.